Come in. Hi, how are you?
Hi there, Scott. I'm great. How are you?
Hi, Kelly.
Nice to meet you in person finally.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah. So how are you today?
I've been very busy today. How about yourself?
Same. Lots of visits today.
Oh, good. Well, I've had lots of visits too.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, actually, my sister ran in the Rainbow Run this past weekend. And
the Rainbow Run.
She wanted me to tell you how great it was
That's probably the favorite race that we
how
sponsor, yeah.
great it was run. And she didn't do very well. She didn't run very fast.
Well, that's all right. I'm not actually a runner, believe it or not. I mean,
you would think of all of them.
Well, I go to the races, I watch other people run, and that's good for me. That wears me out just watching. So.
That's the same thing. I was wore out just watching her. So on a typical, she said it seemed like there were a lot of people there. On a typical race day, how many people do you have sign up to run?
Well, that's one of our biggest races. We get about 8,000 people. I think last year or this year this year was 8,000. So, like I said, it's one of our biggest races. We do 35 races.
Right, I saw that. I was looking at the website. That's really cool, and they're so varied. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Every theme imaginable.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun.
And then people really, I think, respond to that. They like.
Yeah, anymore people like to do races where there's some theme or something different, or charity involved. So
I like that.
we try and do a little bit of everything. So
and that's cool. And I saw a lot of it is you encourage a lot of them to sign up online and sign the waivers online beforehand.
Yeah, not everybody does, but we encourage that.
Right. How many people do you get that don't, that you have to worry about signing up the day of?
It's surprising. I think the last I saw was like 20%. So those people are either not doing the waivers online or they're coming up, day of race and they haven't registered at all, so they don't have a waiver. So we've got to sign them up and we've got to do the waivers, and it's all paperwork while other people are registering. So.
And do you do the on-site payment as well, or just the?
Well, for those people that haven't done online registration, they have to do online payment as well. And then if for whatever reason people will register but haven't done the waiver, I don't know why, but we won't let them race with that. We won't let them race without the waiver. So we do the waivers then too.
Okay, I see. And who usually takes care of the waivers at on-site and back at the office?
Well, that's a good question. So we have a group of people that are on-site coordinators, and depending on what part of the country, like we may have 10 or 20 people depending on the race they'll be doing registration. So people come in, and if they're already registered online, good, they get a number and they go run. But if they're not, then they got to sign them up, and once they sign the form, we collect all those forms, and then they'll send it back at the end of the day, probably the next day, mail it back to our offices here, and then we got, people here that actually scan those documents in.
Okay, and are the on-site people mostly volunteers, or are you paying those?
No, those are our employees, yeah.
Okay, and how much do you feel like that's costing you? Just the extra day of having all that paperwork and having all that staff to pay to do that paperwork?
Well, you don't think it's a lot, but if you have, like on our smaller races, like 5,000 people, if 20%, don't do their way, that's 1,000.
That's a lot, yeah.
1,000 documents. So it's a little bit extra time, and it causes some dissatisfaction because it slows down the lines for everybody to get their numbers. And you're paying for paper, so there's that, and then. Then we got to scan it in once we get it back. So.
Right, and that's so much effort and time, and I think that we have AT&T has a solution. We have kind of a newer program that we're working with Purdue Forms. It's called AT&T Mobile Forms, and here I have some paperwork about it, just so you can kind of peruse that. And I have a small presentation if you wanted to look through it, and if you had any questions about the. So you can just slide through that. I have a stylus if you'd like as well to scroll. You just slide down. Okay. So the AT&T Mobile Forms allows you to have devices, usually an iPad, on site the day of, or multiple iPads, and it allows you to customize your own form, make your own form. So we could make a waiver with you and for you through Mobile Forms, and have it there on an app for people who haven't signed their waiver, who haven't registered yet. We can put those forms together and speed up the process immensely for you guys. It'll end up saving you. It'll save you the cost of paper. It will save you the cost of, mailing all those back and the trouble of scanning all of those documents in.
Right.
All of the documents are on the devices and sent back to your back office or your home office through cloud software.
Okay. So whenever I hear the cloud,
Right.
The cloud is this
The
mysterious
cloud.
thing that everybody talks about, nobody can touch or feel or see.
Mm-hmm.
But I always think of a cloud as like anybody can get there or anybody can see it. Is this
Right, I understand.
Is this like, are people going to be able to see our waiver forms? Because sometimes, we don't, you read about these hacks all the time of people,
Right.
Target and all
Right,
these people.
and that is one thing that we pride ourselves on, our mobile security, on the fact that line goes directly from that device to your back office and can be stored in any of these device softwares that you would use for your back office. Say you store all of the forms in Google Drive because you trust Google Drive. So it's one of those things where you can, it goes wherever you tell it to go.
Okay.
And doesn't
so
go
it's
anywhere
not
else.
a public network
No,
or
definitely
anything?
not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's as private as your network is, that you trust and that you have, your AT&T internet service through us, and it's something that we take very seriously, is your security and your customers' security.
So now one thing is, like, I've got an iPad, but like our people that are, at the events, typically they don't have iPads now, so I'm assuming
Right.
I'm going to have to buy iPads, and then we're going to be paying for, looks like software and the cloud and all this stuff. It sounds like it could be pretty expensive. Is that kind of the deal?
There is a cost involved, but I want to show you here, there is a lot of money that you save in other places.
Okay.
And this kind of breaks it down, your return on investment. With the AT&T mobile forms, you save almost $500 a month just eliminating the extra paper waste, the extra people, the extra mileage driving the forms back to the office, and I think that's something that really I think it does a great job of breaking it down, the cost of currently of using the paper forms.
Yeah, for us, this is right. It's about 40 cents a form for us to probably process these, and we do a heck of a lot more than 80 forms a month.
Right, definitely.
So, which is what was on this thing. So. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's it saves you that time and it saves you that money. It allows for fewer data entry errors. When you send those forms back and you have a receptionist, you have your data entry team manually entering all of those forms in. I think that there's a smaller, there's a decently sized margin for error.
Yeah.
Hi, Scott. 2 minutes till your conference call.
Thank you. Well, so we don't like type them in.
You
once we just scan them.
Okay.
So, but sometimes it's hard to read, signatures and things like that.
and
Scans are never quite as good as some,
Right, and that's one of the things with mobile forms. It supports data-rich entry. You can have them sign with their finger on the iPad or on the device,
That would be cool. I got fat little fingers, so it'd be hard for me. But
They never look that good. But it's like when you sign the credit card.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But so it does a great job. It can also geotag it, which is pretty cool. You can see where, if they registered at the race, or if they came to your office one day and were like, I want to register for this race. You can see where they were at when the form was sent.
See, that information would be really big, because we've been trying to figure out, we've got all this information, but we really can't access it the way we do it today.
Right.
And we've been trying to figure out how we can market differently, because of course, we're making our money off the number of applicants. Some goes to charity, but
Right,
some goes to us.
of course.
But if we had a better way to manipulate our data, we could figure out who to market to. Is it women? Is it men? Is it what geography? Is it age-wise? Where are we hitting? Those kinds of things. That would be kind of cool.
And so with this, I wanted to talk to you about our AT&T Mobile Forms Professional. That kind of breaks down the benefits of the Mobile Professional versus just the Mobile Forms.
Okay.
I think you guys are kind of a prime candidate for the Mobile Professional. With the large scale of your races, I think that it does cost a little more, but I think that it will really we'll really handle all of your needs well.
Okay.
Also with that, we can provide our training and deployment service. That middle one right there is, I think, what I would suggest to you. It's not our most expensive one by far, because I know cost is very important.
That would be perfect.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
All right. Well, thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
We're going to go next door and talk.
Sounds good.
I wish I probably shouldn't have asked that last question. I would have loved it.
Oh,
Giving you a couple more minutes there.
that's okay.
You can come right here, Kelly, and we'll give you some feedback.